Hello, hello. This is Budgets with Grace, where I give you a glimpse of my life through the lens of my budget. My name's Grace. Today I will be showing you how we can make a budget by mom, budget by paycheck in the software YNAB. If you haven't heard of it before, the software I use to budget is called YNAB, or You Need a Budget. If you would like to, you can use a link below in my description to give it a try. It's some of the best budgeting software out there. The reason I want to show you this method in YNAB is because I think the Budget Mom and YNAB are super compatible, and it's a really great resource if you like her style to use but digitally. Now would be a great time to mention where these numbers come from. They come from a Budget Mom video where a viewer of her channel sent in their real numbers for her to mock up in her budget by paycheck method. The viewer's name is Tiffany, and there will be a link up in the cards as well as in the description to watch the original video. You really need to watch that one for this to make any sense at all. So I set this budget up when she released a video in November, and then I've let it sit and run for a couple months so I can show you some of the cool recurring transaction features of YNAB and just in general have a little bit more to work with while I walk around and show you how I've set this up. So first I'll go into the checking account and work through, this would be like Miko's budget calendar, and you can see at the top I've entered in recurring transactions that are pending, and these refresh every month. So once this Amazon music bill comes out, a new pending transaction will show up right at the top. Or not pending, scheduled transaction. Close those up for now and scroll down. You can see all of these are purple. So we have Tiffany, who is the Budget Mom viewer who submitted these numbers, her income plus her partner's income, and all of them are purple. Everything in purple is covered by those two paychecks. These green paychecks are additional to that. So her partner gets paid a second time. That isn't covering any of their fixed expenses. It will go towards other financial goals. They also had a CD account mature in that time. I don't remember what CD stands for, something about credit. It's a type of loan to help you rebuild your credit. So I'll enter that as an inflow. And I'll go ahead and approve this transaction for November. And then before getting too far ahead, I want to go back into the budget and budget this amount in November. So they've already taken care of their bills and fixed expenses. They've put aside their minimum to this credit card. And variable expenses, they've budgeted for everything. I'll touch on this in a minute. One thing that they haven't budgeted for yet is the interest and fees on their credit card. And this is a way that YNAB really saves you. It forces you to categorize the interest on your credit card, and you can't cover the interest with your minimum payment. So I'll go ahead and fund that one. And now we come down to some of these other goals. So I think I'll fund Hawaii for them. Miko kind of goes over how these might not be the best goals, especially because they have that credit card that they need to be paying off. But I kind of disagree on the foundation of like YNAB is supposed to give you permission to spend money on the things you want to. So I'm going to see what it looks like if I fund their goals that they sent into her before paying off the credit card, which wasn't their top priority. Miko also recommended that they stop investing while paying off this credit card, but I just want to see what it would look like. We can play around with this in a bit. So now I think I'll take this remaining amount and put it into their emergency fund. Seems like a good place to add this to. All right, now I will go back into the checking and we'll speed through December and what has happened already in January. So let's see, I have the mortgage came out, a phone provider came out. The income came in, we made a payment to the credit card, it looks like there was accidentally one more. I'll get rid of that in a minute. And payment and internet. And I will go ahead and approve all of those and delete this extra one, which must have gotten duplicated for some weird reason. Flag that yellow so you can see cleanly what is covered by which income. I'd like to hop into the credit card for a minute and make some adjustments because they are making those monthly payments, but a lot of that minimum payment is going to the interest. So I'll go ahead and record a payment. I'm going to backdate it to November, the end of November. And if I click save, I think that is right. Let's go into budget one more time really quick. Just make sure. This is a different amount than it's letting me pay. I think it's because I haven't budgeted for it in the future, but those payments are already recorded. So I'll go ahead and budget this really quick. Let's go back into that credit card. Now I have the correct amount to make that payment. Record payment. There's the total amount. Again, backdated to November from checking and save. Awesome. So this is a feature of Toolkit for YNAB, which, if you don't know, is a Google Chrome and Firefox browser extension that gives you some extra features inside of your YNAB account. So I wish there was a duplicate feature in YNAB. I run into this every time. I wish there was duplicate. So I'm going to charge the interest on the same day as their minimum payment comes out. It goes to NFCU and it will go into interest. And I like to make a note of the APR and what that breaks down to monthly. So now I'm going to be looking at the balance on this payment for December 2nd, which is 10,285. 10,285 times 0.012 for 1.2%, and tap, and I can see how much interest will be charged. I'll go ahead and approve this one and move back into the budget for November, not November, for December. It was like, I have zero. Why do I have zero? First of all, I'm going to cover that credit card interest. And then we'll cover all of these fixed expenses. They're all negative right now because they all come out automatically. Let's click underfunded. And it looks like I missed a couple that should be recurring, so I will fix that now. Back to the budget. Looks like car insurance was still left out. Make repeating, December 30th. And now if we scroll up, there should be a purple here. We're going to turn it blue and approve it. And then there's going to be purple here, so we're going to turn it yellow, and we're good. Should be good. So that's how you do your bills and fixed expenses using scheduled transactions in YNAB. Now I'm going to show you how you can do a cash envelope system in YNAB and track it digitally while still using cash. As you can see, I have a variable expenses category group, and each of the categories within it will be a cash envelope. In addition to that, in the sidebar, you can see that I've set up tracking accounts. So tracking accounts are different than like your bank account or other accounts that you have in your budget. It's actually taking money out of your budget and giving you less money to have within the budget. I'm going to add value to groceries. And it looks like we have $700 budgeted to do that. So in my checking, add a transaction. Again, let's backdate it because I believe they would get this on November 1st. And the payee will be 2 groceries. The variable expense is groceries, and the outflow will be 70. Oops. Now, if we look into groceries cash, we have $700. To spend out of this to track your groceries, all you have to do is track your transactions in here, grocery store, and I don't know, let's say you went to Kroger and you spent $150. You do that for all of your transactions for groceries, gas, eating out. You can follow the system for all of them. I'm going to cut it a little short because it would take all day to do this for all of them. So I'm going to flip ahead to December. You might notice that I don't have goals set on any of these variable expenses. So instead of clicking on underfunded in the right-hand sidebar, I will be clicking on budgeted last month. Great, and those are now funded. The only difference here is the interest was charged differently. I will just move that $30 back into the inflow. Now we'll fund some of these. This should actually have a goal, add 500 there. And these work trips vary. Let's make it a monthly savings builder. Do 500 there, put some towards Hawaii, and they're just not going to have enough to fully fund their goals for the Florida home and the Florida trip. I think this is where Miko recommended they start paying off that credit card more rapidly, and yeah, I can see that with $123 going out in interest. This is even having less money for them to work with than what was shown in Miko's video. Yeah, I think it was that windfall of the CD account that made that possible last month. I think just round number going to NFCU. The rest of this, I think, should go to the emergency fund. So now we'll hop back into the credit card. We can see how much we have to make a payment. I will add a transaction that happened on December 30th. Oops, I shouldn't add a transaction. Record a payment that happened on December 30th. And we'll save that. And I'll approve this minimum payment. And now I'll add a transaction for the interest. That will come on the 2nd. It comes when their minimum payment is due. All right, looking back at those numbers in the side, it will be 8370 times 0.012 and only $100 in interest. That's awesome. And back to the budget. We'll go ahead and begin doing the same process in January. We will cover this overspending with the to be budgeted. Then we're going to want to fund all of the fixed bills and expenses. Already budgeted for the minimum credit card. Variable expenses, I'll just deselect interest and fees and click on not underfunded, budgeted last month. Right now they have a little bit left to work with. 500 to work trips. And they're going to be getting another payday. So I think we could fund Hawaii and probably just huck the rest of this in the emergency fund. And I'll just check this out. Oh, I forgot to do the same thing with the car loan. I guess we'll do that now. I'll do the same thing I was doing for the interest rate. I need to do some math. So I'll put the memo in here again for the APR, which is 8.2%. Then that translates to 683 0.683% monthly. And this will be coming in on the 1st, so that will be 23,339 times 0.68, excuse me, 00683. That looks about right to me. Make it repeating on the 1st, but I want it to happen in January. And this will change is the only thing about doing it in these scheduled transactions. It's not going to know to do it by a percentage instead of a specific dollar amount. So on January 1st, it's cool. So, unlike the credit card, you don't need to categorize interest on tracking accounts. So these minimum payments are what is covering that interest, which is why this is going to decrease a lot less quickly unless you start coming up with the category groups to cover that interest. This just has one to approve. It was really close to maturing when she released this video, and now it has. That's how I would use YNAB to do the Budget Mom method, and hats off to the reader or viewer that put this information out there into the world. I hope you liked this video. Give it a like, comment, subscribe, all the things, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!